Granada, a city that, throughout the centuries, has witnessed countless stories, legends, and transformations. A city steeped in history, where every corner tells a different tale. From its most iconic monuments to its most hidden alleyways, Granada is an open book of bygone eras. At its heart lies Albaicín, a neighborhood where time seems to stand still. This place, with its labyrinthine streets and unique atmosphere, is a living testament to the city's rich cultural heritage. Its narrow, steep streets remind us of its Arab past, climbing the hill like scars. Every stone, every corner speaks of a time when Islamic culture flourished in these lands. The white houses, with their interior courtyards, hold secrets from centuries past. Their walls conceal stories of families, loves, and conflicts that have shaped the neighborhood's destiny. Albaicín witnessed the birth of Andalusian culture. It was here that the blend of traditions and knowledge gave rise to one of the most brilliant periods in the history of Al-Andalus. Its palaces and gardens were filled with music and poetry. Poets and musicians found inspiration in this place, creating works that still resonate in our collective memory. The Alhambra, a marvel of Islamic architecture, rises majestically above the neighborhood. This palace, with its intricate details and grandeur, is a symbol of the splendor of that era. But Albaicín's history has its lights and shadows. Not everything was always splendor and beauty. There were also moments of conflict and pain. After the Reconquista, the Christian religion prevailed, and the neighborhood maintained its Moorish essence in a fragile balance. Churches were erected on the foundations of old mosques, and traditions blended in a delicate equilibrium. Legends flow through the streets of Albaicín like water through its ancient channels. These stories, passed down through generations, keep the memory of bygone times alive. Tales of impossible loves, hidden treasures, and presences from beyond the grave. Every corner of Albaicín hides a mystery, a legend waiting to be uncovered. And in this place, in the summer of 1982, a true story surpassed fiction: the mysterious exorcism of a young woman. This event, which shook the community, is just one of the many tales that make Albaicín a place full of enigmas and wonders. Today, Albaicín remains a vibrant place where past and present intertwine. Tourists wander its streets, amazed by its beauty and history, while residents keep alive the traditions passed down through generations. As the sun sets, Albaicín is bathed in warm colors, and the magic of this place becomes even more palpable. It is in these moments that one can truly feel the essence of Granada, a city that, through the centuries, has managed to preserve its soul and its history. The Alhambra, illuminated at night, stands as a beacon of history, reminding us of the grandeur and complexity of this corner of the world. A labyrinth of history and shadow, where every step takes us deeper into the past. The summer of 1982 was scorching hot in Granada. Temperatures reached sweltering levels, and the city seemed trapped in an endless heatwave. The sun beat down mercilessly on Albaicín, a neighborhood known for its narrow cobblestone streets and white houses. Intensifying the sense of jasmine and dry earth, the heat amplified every aroma, every sensation. But in the heart of the neighborhood, a chill ran through its inhabitants. Something dark was approaching, something they couldn't explain. It all started with a teenage girl, a young woman who until then had led a normal and happy life. Her name, to protect her identity, has been kept secret. But her story became the center of every conversation. What we do know is that her behavior changed suddenly and terrifyingly. From a cheerful and sociable girl, she became a shadow of her former self. The young woman, once cheerful and full of life, became quiet and aggressive. Her friends and family couldn't understand what was happening to her. Neighbors whispered among themselves, fear in their eyes. Every day the rumors grew, becoming darker and more sinister. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said the young woman had been cursed. Some said she was possessed by a demon. Stories of demonic possession were not new to the region, but this one seemed different. Others whispered of a Romani curse. The Romani community had a historical presence in Granada, and their legends and myths were well known. The truth was, no one knew for sure what was happening to the young woman. Uncertainty and fear gripped the neighborhood, and every shadow seemed to conceal a new mystery. The nights became unsettling, with the sound of church bells echoing in the darkness. The full moon illuminated the streets but did not dispel the fear. People gathered in the squares, sharing their theories and fears. Each story was more terrifying than the last. Some sought answers in ancient books of magic and superstition, trying to find an explanation for the unexplainable. But the truth remained elusive. The young woman continued to be an enigma, and her story, a reminder that some things are beyond our understanding. The young woman's family, desperate, sought help from doctors and specialists. But science couldn't explain the girl's symptoms. Convulsions, changes in her voice, incredible strength. Each episode was more terrifying than the last. The young woman spoke in strange languages, uttered blasphemies, and suffered from fits of extreme violence. It seemed that something evil inhabited her, consuming her from within. Her blood-curdling screams echoed through the labyrinthine streets of Albaicín at night. Fear gripped the neighborhood. The terrified parents watched as their daughter slipped away from them. Despair led them to seek a solution in the spiritual world. A solution as old as fear itself. An exorcism. The church at first was reluctant to perform an exorcism. It was the 20th century, the age of reason and science. However, the family's pleas and the gravity of the case made them reconsider. A priest, highly experienced in spiritual battles, was chosen to confront the evil tormenting the young woman. His name, like the girl's, remains a secret. It is said that he was a man of deep faith but also with vast knowledge of the occult. The exorcism would be conducted in secret. Secrecy was paramount to avoid scandal and the disbelief of the outside world. Only a small group of people, including family members and members of the church, would witness the struggle between light and darkness. The exorcism ritual was carried out in a small chapel in Albaicín. This chapel, with its atmosphere steeped in history and mystery, had witnessed countless events throughout the centuries, but none as terrifying as the one about to unfold. The stone walls, silent witnesses to centuries of history, seemed to vibrate with the tension of the moment. Every crack and every stone told stories of faith and devotion, but now they faced a dark and unknown force. The air, thick and heavy, smelled of incense and fear. The incense smoke mingled with the ragged breaths of those present, creating an almost suffocating atmosphere. Each inhale was a reminder of the spiritual battle raging at that very moment. The young woman, tied to a chair, struggled furiously while the priest, armed with his faith and prayers, confronted the entity possessing her. Her eyes, filled with terror and despair, reflected the internal struggle she was enduring. The priest, his face etched with determination, continued to recite the sacred prayers. The holy words echoed through the chapel as the young woman screamed and blasphemed in languages no one understood. Each word uttered by the priest was a blow against the darkness, an attempt to free the young woman's trapped soul. Her cries, filled with pain and rage, reverberated off the chapel walls, creating a terrifying echo. The battle between good and evil lasted for hours. Every passing minute felt like an eternity to those present, who watched with bated breath. The tension was palpable, and every movement of the priest and the young woman was followed with rapt attention and dread. Those present, terrified, prayed silently as the priest fought to save the young woman's soul. Their faces reflected a mixture of fear and hope, trusting that the priest's faith would be enough to overcome the evil entity. Each silent prayer was a beacon of hope amidst the darkness. It is said that objects moved on their own, an icy chill descended, and a nauseating smell filled the chapel. Witnesses claimed to have seen shadows moving in the corners, and some even felt a freezing presence that made their skin crawl. The smell, a mix of sulfur and decay, was so strong that many had to cover their noses and mouths to avoid vomiting. The chapel, once a place of peace and refuge, had become a battleground between light and darkness. Despite the secrecy surrounding the exorcism, rumors spread quickly through Albaicín. It was said that the young woman levitated, that her eyes glowed with an infernal fire, and that her voice, guttural and inhuman, chilled the blood. The terrified neighbors locked themselves in their homes after nightfall. No one dared to speak the possessed young woman's name. Fear, irrational but real, had taken hold of the neighborhood. Stories were told in hushed voices passed down from one generation to the next. Urban legends that fueled the mystery and kept alive the memory of that terrible night when evil crept into the heart of Albaicín.